ADHD and Learning by Andy Valle for the class EDUU 606 at Brandman University. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, a recent study in 2016 stated that ADHD diagnoses are on the rise and nearly 11% of children in America are affected by this disease. ADHD impacts both academic and social facets of a person's life and is characterized by three hallmark symptoms. Those symptoms are hyperactivity, impulsivity, and inattentiveness. Although other symptoms do present with ADHD, most fall under the umbrella of these three major symptoms. ADHD and comorbidity. ADHD is often associated or coupled with other challenges, including learning disabilities, emotional disturbance, and depression. People affected by ADHD often struggle with social interactions, peer relationships, and facial cues. Verbal input and multiple cognitive operations leading to poor self-esteem and low confidence are often a factor in everyday lives of children impacted by ADHD. ADHD in the brain. Current research has looked at the brain of those affected with ADHD in comparison with those of typically developing brains. Information on this disease was gathered using an electroencephalogram, or EEG, and neuroimaging equipment to examine brain development. These types of images have found areas that are affected in the brain, such as gray and white matter volume, maturation delay in certain regions, and problems with firing signals. White and gray matter in those with ADHD have shown decreased volume in the brain. According to Gurtris, Ridkanoff, Shkoley, as well as Sousa, decreased volume of white and gray matter in the brain increase with the severity of ADHD symptoms. Sousa also found that brain matter volume was related to intelligence, and those with higher IQ scores had more gray matter volume. There was also a decrease in the cortical connectivity between hemispheres of the brain. For brain maturation delays, those affected by ADHD have shown delays in brain regions compared with those of typical development in the areas of the frontal cortex and temporal lobe. The frontal cortex is responsible for planning, critical thinking, executive functioning, as well as high-order thinking. The temporal lobe is responsible for sound, music, face and object recognition, as well as long-term memory. Firing signals in EEG revealed that brain messages being fired from the neurons and brainwave activity were responsible for cognitive functions and were dysregulated with those who had ADHD. The EEGs found that there was slow frequency in the theta range, inconsistencies in the delta range, and a decreased fast wave in the beta range. All of these waves added up to unfocused behavior and overactive neural activity. How does these areas impact learning? Those who have ADHD have difficulties focusing on lessons and with the input of information during lessons from teachers or peers. They often have difficulties with planning and organizational skills, which will result in incomplete work, loss of work, or complete absent-mindedness. They have difficulties remaining in their seat, participating in independent work, allowing others to participate by disruption. They also have difficulties with problem solving and self-regulation of their emotions. How can teachers help students who have such a difficult time with learning and prevent others from learning? Some of the strategies that can be used are providing directions in a clear and concise way, using short sentences and giving directions one at a time. They can also teach studying habits versus academics, which can lead to better focus and better studying skills, ultimately resulting in higher academic performance. They can use graphic organizers to help students understand information and keep it in a place that seems logical. They can utilize routines and procedures regularly with every activity, so those who have a very hard time with planning get to be in a routine that seems regular. They also can have reduced noises and distractions in a classroom. That may mean sitting in a preferred spot, having less visual disturbances around them, and providing them with earphones. They can also model appropriate behavior and find students to pair with those students who can model appropriate behavior. That way, students are encouraged to demonstrate how learning occurs in the classroom.